all day, every day. And so there's some videos that I just re-listened to. That was Scott Vlashin talking about capabilities design, where you provide the options to the client of what they can choose from, so that they can't do something bad or evil or stupid. So I was just
Gotcha.
re-listening to that. What's going on
Cool.
with you?
Not much. Been an okay week. Didn't have a lot of time to devote to this, but I did. Yeah, I know. Well, I got two more classes left, and then I'll have a couple more nights a week free, and well, probably like 3 more nights because I have to spend like a night prepping. So that should change this whole thing. But Um, I didn't really get any sort of website ready or anything, but I did put out some feelers on the Ludum Dare website, the Game Jam website that I was going to try to tap into, um, and I did get some responses and stuff, and some people that are interested in after the jam, trying to make out a box and manual and stuff, and help me get the process going. Um,
Okay.
so there's some progress there. Also decided that SD cards are probably the best form of media that I could probably pass a game on. They scale real nicely, and they're small, and they generally are easy to label because you know they've got just a flat surface on them to label. So I ordered a bunch of or a set of 10 last night from this website for they're about $5 a piece when it's all said and done, um, which is kind of spendy, but but we'll see. Um, the what was it? Talking pricing with some of them too on the thing is I'm landing on like I need to get it for about $20 is probably about the max I could charge where people would start dropping off for it's not really worth it kind of a thing. So try to target that price point. Then I just have to make my operations efficient such that I can actually do any sort of profit in there. It's going to be tight, but I don't think this is obviously going to make me a billionaire. But
Is
but
this just United States?
um, yes and no. I think what I might do is leave it open. But if I get an international order, I might just have to be like, so I really don't know what the laws are there for tax and stuff. Although I think some of the tools in Shopify and thing will help with international tax, which is probably the most the most concerning thing is tax. Um,
Well, I was going to say that in regards to the price,
yeah,
and I can't think of like specific examples, but maybe you your your price for the product is variable based on the demographic. So, for example, if it's in like I think, are we still allowed to say third world country, or has that been deprecated?
no,
Um,
I think third world is well. No, what do they say now? It's I don't say third
emerging
world.
country,
It's emerging. Yeah, it's like
developing country, or
yeah, something
um,
like that.
so like you may have some logic on the server that takes into consideration that particular location or demographic, and then instead of $25, it's like, I don't know, $17 or whatever. Um,
Yeah, and I mean, I may be able to do something like that, but I mean the the margin's already fairly thin on it at considering how the labor costs and everything like that associated with it. So it's kind of like I could probably do like one off like more like a coupon code thing where if someone says I'd really like to do this but I can't afford it or whatever, maybe I could give them like a code or something like that and just handle them more like a although that might just put a barrier up for people. But I'm getting way ahead of myself because it's like I don't even have a U.S. customer yet, really, someone that's actually giving me money. So, but
Okay.
but I see what you're doing there. I mean, even within the United States, it's like in the Midwest, $20 is a good price for a thing.
I
In New
mean,
York, you could probably charge 40, and people be like, okay.
yeah, just take
Uh,
into consideration that like I would imagine that these are like professional developers that maybe have a hobby of building games or whatever. And so just based on their education or their skill set, they should be able to command a certain amount of money, right? And so I don't think that these people are still poor, regardless of where they live at. They still represent, middle class, if not upper middle class, just given their skills.
yeah.
I could be wrong, but I mean, that's
No,
the
I
thought
mean
process.
this is totally and this is really it's a vanity thing, right? It's like you want it. It's not like a necessity thing. Um, it's definitely if the world went to crap, nobody would need this anymore. It's purely something that people would do for enjoyment, or to have to share. I mean, it might be a business purpose for it, but yeah. So it's kind of I don't know. We'll see. I can always adjust it too after the fact, but it sounds like where I'm at. $20 is probably about the 25 is probably the max, and 20 is probably the enticing price. But I can always shift it up or down and see how it affects things if it actually starts up. But yeah. Anyway, so I did some progress on there. I got those SD cards ordered. I got some people interested. When those SD cards come in, I'm going to try to make some. I haven't made labels yet, so I might go buy some label paper and see what it looks like to print off a label. Um, I'm not sure what it'll be to print off like one label at a time that's really tiny like that, though. I might have to figure out how I'm going to do that. So, but anyways, how was your progress this week?
It was better this week now that I'm no longer sick. So I was able to implement the Denny's
Cool.
the Denny's menu, and I could demo that real fast. You see my screen? Hold up.
I see the never-ending scene. Yeah, now I see myself fade. Yeah, there we go.
All right. So like, you have these list of restaurants, and then you select Denny's, and I want a Grand Slam, Slugger, and I also implemented these filters, right?
Oh,
So
cool.
I usually order an Oreo shake every time I'm at Denny's, and so then I can prepare to check out. Oh, something else that I did was I added in a placeholder when. Okay, that's a bad example. Hold up, let me go back. Let me go back real fast because the width of the restaurant menu items is bigger than or is larger than the width of these normal convenient items.
Mhm.
Something else I wanted to demo real fast is I'll put in a placeholder so when you exceed more than 4 items of a convenient item, then you now have, let me see what I'm doing. You now have this ellipsis and then above it, the additional items that are in your cart, right? So, and that continues to update if you see it.
Yep. Yeah.
And so then if you click on it, if you click on the card, you see all the stuff that's in here. Um, so to go back to I just need to write some logic to accommodate the sizing difference of a restaurant menu item and its width, based on pixels versus the width of like convenience store items and accommodate that so that I don't have a weird layout issue like you just saw. Um,
Man,
so
it's making me hungry. Watching this go by. Sorry.
yeah, so I gotta fix that layout thing. But anyway, you go to checkout and I added some icons up here that build into the price. So you have your shopping cart items, which is $14.98, and then your delivery charge is $5. And then that's pretty much it. The same scenario where you request a delivery and finds your driver, and then it transitions to driver found, arrives in whatever minutes or whatever, call or message that person, and have to fix the bug because this call or message should still show up right here. So that's on my to-do list. Hopefully by next time I do a demo, and then delivery completed. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm definitely making progress. I think. Let me stop sharing. Um, I think in another, if I maintain like a minimum 2 hour quota each day, 7 days a week, I would like to be done in like, at least with this mobile app. The client part, I'm not even talking about the server part, maybe in 3 more weeks. And
Sure.
then I can write out the server, which I want to do on Closure, which I'm sure is going to take me a long time. But I'm I'm pretty content with my progress. I'm surprised I got this far. It's starting to look, for me, it's starting to look more polished. So and it's just iterative. So I'm feeling good, at least about the development part of it. It still has yet to be tested in the wild, but that's it.
Yeah.
Feedback?
Do those items that you have you set up the code to pull those and the pricing from a server at some point?
No, all that's mocked out right now.
Okay, so it's all just in code, basically.
Yeah, I have a library called a test API that's
Sure.
in my solution, and it has all the mocked out data that would normally come from a server. It's just
Oh, I
provided
see.
as a library, as a placeholder. And then when I
Gotcha.
wire things up, I swap my dependencies from that test, from depending on that test API library for data retrieval to an actual data gateway that has a dependency on some web services, in this case, like Web API Framework.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking good. Uh, yeah, have you got I suppose you saw the maps, the GPS stuff, all that wired up yet, or
Nope.
that's still to come? Okay,
Still to come.
cool.
Um,
Did you have to go into Denny's and sit there and write down the prices then, or just go?
no, I just went to their website.
Okay,
Yeah. So I guess next week, I want to build out the burgers and shakes menu and clean up the the shopping cart layout or the shopping cart summary layout so that it takes into account the different widths of convenience store items versus restaurant items, and you don't see that that layout anomaly. So I want to resolve that. That's pretty much it, man. Just stay the course, I guess. And this isn't. I haven't even done the delivery app yet. I had someone that said he'll do it, and that he needs to wrap up with his hobby project that he claims he's wrapping up with. But he said that like a month ago, and you know how quickly people say, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'm down, I'm down." But when it comes to actually like demonstrating that you're down, like the likelihood of people actually getting their hands dirty is like low. So I don't know. I don't want to be negative, but I'm not confident that this person is actually going to, even though he said that, he's willing to help me out and partner with me on this. I'm not confident that he will. I think he'll probably find another project, that hobby project that he wants to do after he wraps up with this one. It's me being negative, but I just don't get much feedback or much status from him. I usually have
Yeah,
to pull of him.
yeah, it's relying on other people. It's got to be like just the right situation to get in a place where you've got someone that you're not paying who directly with money to do something is willing to jump on ship with you and go, right. Yeah, I've thought about the idea, well, what if I try to find some sort of partner to do the like marketing and sales side of things, and I focus on the production side of things of this, and but like where to find someone, and then you know the likelihood that I would find someone that actually would do it, and it, according to what I vision, is pretty low unless I'm paying them. So
Yeah, like the the market, or lack of a better term, like people are so stuck in this employee mindset that their first question is, "Oh, are you going to pay me?" I'm like, "No, I'm looking for a partner. A partner shares the risk, and if a partner, usually a partner, believes in the vision, and we get paid together, not up front, but after we deliver. That's the whole point of partnering." And
yeah,
you'll be surprised how many people like either need to be reminded of that concept of what it means to partner.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's something that you have to. I think if you're looking for something, you have to be really upfront about, hey, this is a partnership. It's pure equity. Um, an equity arrangement with shared responsibility, and we don't get paid unless we deliver, kind of a thing. But yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah, it's finding someone to fit that mold is pretty, and is who's going to also deliver. Um, is the likelihood's pretty low.
I wish I had kids that were like at least 12, so that they could deliver the items to the beach. That would be so helpful, and then I wouldn't have to pay them either. Ah, damn it. So I have so many opportunities. Anyways.
Maybe you could become a foster parent.
And
And
it's
say,
like,
I only want the ones over 13. Take all the edge cases over 13 or 15. Actually, if they have a car, that'd be the best. So
and
if
I get a
you're
government check.
16 to 18, I'll take the foster kids, and then you just like, all right, going to work.
Buy them some scooters, and yeah, they deliver for food and shelter. Yeah.
There you go. That wouldn't
Yeah.
be
When are you gonna perform a code review? Got
me.
that,
Oh,
trying to get you to learn F sharp. Um, that's pretty much it, man. I meant to ask you on a side note: is teaching like fulfilling for you? Is it what you expected?
I think it could be. If it was like my full time gig, if I could do it full time, and I actually had some sort of like impact on the overall, uh, more impact on the courses that I would teach, kind of a thing, or more choice in that, and more impact on the overall curriculum, and was part of a program that was better, and I had better understanding of where students are at coming in. There's lots of like stuff that's wrong with the situation I'm in coming in, trying to just fill the gap for a couple of students who basically were left out to dry by, or not left out to dry by the college, but the program dried up, and that the teaching part, interacting with the students, is fun. um, Sharing knowledge, and that is fun. Getting together, like trying to while having a full-time job trying to come up with what to do uh, when it's your first time through is pretty difficult. Maybe if I had a better plan to follow, it wouldn't have been so bad. I don't know. There's a lot of loose thoughts there, but
Yeah.
I do. I like working with new people and teaching them new things. But I feel like the whole process of traditional school is really difficult to do that in. It's like if it was more like an apprenticeship type thing where they're working and they just have mentorship, that would feel a lot better, I guess. But
What's the dropout rate?
oh, I don't. Well, I lost. So it's 33% right now because I had three students to start and I lost one because he was just not anywhere near where he needed to be where I was teaching the course. So I've only got two students right now. One of them,
The college is willing to pay you to teach 3 or 4 students.
yeah, yeah, basically but that's because they started this program and they're killing it, but they have students that started in it and they're trying to fulfill that obligation to them. So, which is a good thing to do. I mean, it's a fiscal loss for them, but it's kind of a saving face kind of thing.
That happened to me before when I was in community college. They decided not to offer the course that I needed for my last semester, and I'm like, well, I can't graduate without this course, and you guys removed it. And they're like, well, we had low enrollment. I'm like, I don't give a damn. Like,
Yeah,
so they let me pick an alternative course because that was serious. It's like, well, how am I supposed to graduate? The good news is for the person that dropped out, he'll probably be a scrum master or a project manager, and he'll dictate for the people that pass how they're supposed to build and deliver the project.
yeah, that was always kind of the running joke in college is that the people that were in the computer science courses with us, it was like if they couldn't hack it, they would go to the computer information systems thing, and then if they still couldn't hack it, then they would go to just strictly business, and then they'd all end up being our managers one day.
No, they take communications or psychology, and they
Yeah,
become managers and scrum masters, and ask us for estimates and why didn't we get this task done.
yeah, um, yeah.
You can tell
So,
I can't stand Scrum. That's a
hmm?
different. So you could tell I can't stand Scrum. But that's a different session. So
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I think Scrum would probably make sense to me as a loose framework, but it's when you took it as people took it as a instead of a as like a set of practices kind of combined. It was more like here's a process we can follow, and then they put process around it, and then they added tooling and made it contractual, and they just basically undid all the work that they were trying to do with it in the first place. So
it basically involved everybody that was leading the Scrum process. Most have no background actually building or deploying software, and that's my issue. It gave people an opportunity. It gave people that were weeded out in the software engineering programs a way to get back in and to take control. And I mean, that's my personal opinion. I'm sure it's flawed by someone that really understands it. But my personal experience with people that have practiced it or organizations that have practiced it, I just don't agree with it. So, at least I don't agree with their form or practice of it.
yeah, I like the thing I see a lot in stuff is like, they'll be like, oh, we're going to switch everything over to this new tool and we're going to get all these metrics and dashboards. And I have yet to ask someone like, well, how do you plan on actually using those to make actionable like decisions or whatever? And I never get an answer for that. It's just like, but we're just going to use it to help with planning or help with this, but they don't ever specify how it's actually going to help. Like, and
Yeah.
then yeah, so it's I don't know. Yeah, I've got a kind of a hate relationship with the whole any sort of process or structure that gets put over software development. But
I
it's
uh, I had an interview yesterday, and feel free to kill this whenever you need to go. Right? I had
yeah.
a I had my second screening. I passed after my first screening. They said, "So, what do you think?" I'm like, "No, I'm not interested." And then they like, "Oh well, if they like you, are you willing to talk to them again?" I'm like, I mean, I'm willing to talk to them again, but I'm not interested because just the first screening, there's like just red flags that says that this is not an environment that I can really do awesome work in. And like, oh well, you should go through another screening with them. You know, and I went through the second screening, and it just confirmed that I don't want to work there, and it would require me to move to Philadelphia. And like, so they have this mobile application. It's not in. They have a Xamarin application, but they don't have any XAML. They don't have any view models. They don't have any tests. And their biggest issue right now is they're trying to get their push notifications to work. And like the more they were asking me questions, the more I realized how effed up their shop was, and that even if they hired me, I would just be so frustrated, more than likely, because they probably would keep on the people that created the mess in the first place, and it just wouldn't work. But anyways, you actually keep jobs for a long time, so you can't really relate, or can you, when it comes to screening different jobs to see if you really fit in or not, regardless of the pay.
Yeah, I can't really relate too much to those. I've had since college ended. I've had three different software. Well, sort of three different software jobs. So my first place that I hit out of school, then I worked for a contracting firm for like 6 7 months, and I should have just stayed with them. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but went back to my other place for 2 more years, and then I'm at the place where I'm currently now after that. So
Okay.
um, it's so three places, but I've worked for a total of three different clients, so or people or companies or whatever you would say in the process. So yeah, I haven't done a lot of interviewing on the side of the being interviewed. Um, I haven't had to do a whiteboard test yet.
Really?
Yeah, that's that I'm grateful, but I've only had three, so it's like I don't know. I would probably just be like I don't know if a place is gonna do a whiteboard test. It's like unless I'm really nerded out by what they're asking me, and I'm like this is fun, uh, which it could be like then it would be kind of fun. But if I had to try to put together a binary whatever, I know I could build a linked list and I can build a tree, but to do it on a whiteboard or something like that, or doing a search algorithm on the whiteboard, no way.
Well, what if it's a recorded coding exercise where they record your screen, and then some HR person just saves it and they give you back a score?
Oh, yeah, I guess I could do that.
I reject them. I said, "Yo, I have a technical blog, I have a YouTube channel, I have a GitHub account, I have Stack Overflow. I have all these artifacts for you to gauge my skill set. I am not taking your stupid test. You can research me and you can dig up anything that you would like and ask me about it, and I could go into detail, Wikipedia mode on it, but I'm not going to take your test. I put out so much for you to grade me on. I'm not taking your test." And so that happens a lot. They're like, "Hey, they're interested in you, but they want you to take their test." I'm like, "I'm not taking their test. Research me."
Yeah, I did have one interview that I other than the ones that I've had where I didn't get the job, but I failed out in the cultural section of it. And that
You
was
weren't
with
black enough.
huh? No, they have. Yeah, they're really protective of their culture, and I loved the idea of their culture and their manifesto and stuff, and it's kind of maybe what I've grown into. But during the interview, it was kind of like the way that the questions were going. I knew halfway through, I'm like, nope, this isn't going to work out because they're because I answered these questions wrong. I mean, they're
Wrong
behavioral
or
questions,
honestly?
honestly, but I mean, they weren't. It wasn't in line with what their culture was. So it was like things like, you do I don't know how to describe it, like do the right thing no matter what, kind of a thing, and that's a paraphrase of what it was, regardless of consequences and things like that. And it was like I was in the thing and I was talking about how, this one architect gave us this, really terrible way of doing things, and I just, and it was like, well, I kind of just had to go along because I was junior and I don't, you know, uh, I couldn't, just say, screw you, I'm doing it this way, um, which is basically what I should have done according to their whole, deal. So
Well, that's different because the majority of places would, I would imagine, want you to follow the architect, but raise your concerns, but don't challenge them. Other places, they just want you to keep your head down and just do it, right? So I've been reprimanded for not following orders because I felt like it was unethical. And they told me that, well, you should do what they say and just raise your concerns to me. I'm like, no.
yeah,
I have options. If I'm not feeling it, then I'll just not work here.
yeah, I think that company's changed a bit of their cultural statements and stuff those since, because they they were one of these ones where they had to do like a, we've got a toxic culture and we're fixing it kind of a deal, which I don't think they probably did have a toxic culture, but for West Coast they probably had a toxic culture. So um, but I don't know. It was Riot Games is the company I interviewed with. They make League of Legends. It's kind of cool because I mean, there's a game that they make, but they have a huge tech side that's all about the infrastructure for doing that. So they've got, their actual uh, website. They have complex things like they're building their own network across the U.S. to try to reduce latency between, areas and stuff like that, because the internet's so inconsistent and unreliable. So yeah, it's like they have a huge, like, interesting tech sector of their business that isn't building the game but is building things related to the game. So
Have you ever had any strange jobs that were interested in you?
no, not really. Well, that was the only reason I got into that interview too, was because at my last job I did recruiting from colleges, and I was also doing software development. And the gal that was interviewing thought, I think she thought, well, I was more like a full on technical recruiter plus developer, where I was more like a like a college recruiter, which isn't quite the same thing. Um, and so it was kind of, I think she, when she realized that I wasn't exactly what she was looking for, then she was like, well, we could look at your tech stuff, and then we did the interview. But I've never had any sort of like weird, like, come and work for I don't know, come and work for our porn shop or something. I don't know.
When I first moved down here, and I was like just grinding, trying to uh, essentially trying to like rev up my skill set so I could go from junior to senior, because I was a junior developer in Cleveland, but I wanted to like change my identity and just be hired as a senior to get senior money. I remember it was a it was like a porn company had interviewed me, and I wasn't really interested in web development, but they're like, we'll we'll help you get up to speed. The only caveat is it's not just man and woman; it's gay porn too, and you have to be okay with working and building and testing that stuff that may have that content. And I'm like, I can't do gay porn. I can't look at that. It was already like sketchy that like
Yeah.
porn company period, because like I mean you could probably disguise that on your resume, and like Miami's different, right? Like this, I would imagine like LA too. Like it's just different, you know. And plus, I would argue that a lot of these adult industries, when it comes to technology, are cutting edge. You know,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah. I
forward
mean,
thinking. If you could, if you can, or are empowered to get past it, but like so you could disguise that stuff because their business names don't have a raunchy title. Their business names sound like any other legitimate business name until
yeah.
like, you really drill in and research them, and then you'll probably find what they actually create. But when they say gay porn, and like I would have to at times be working with like assets, images, and testing and viewing that. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, apart from the domain, you think about it, and they're at least some of them probably are extremely, advanced tech companies. They have I guess with think of like the streaming industry, and you look at something like Twitch. If you were going to write stuff where they're streaming video games, for instance, there's a lot of really cool tech that goes on into that. And whether you agree with it or not, the same stuff happens over on the in the porn industry. So it's like it would be kind of from a purely technical standpoint, the challenges that they face and stuff, it'd probably be really fun to work for that kind of you know job. But then you have to, yeah, it's kind of like there's this whole sour note of like, how do you explain that to employers after the fact? Like, yeah, I worked for this.
We want to see your work. Take me to the site or mobile app. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm going
okay.
to show you. I'm going to show you my portfolio here. You see this? You see this thing on this site? This is my thing right here.
And then they keep revisiting it.
Yeah. That would be. It'd be. I don't know. Yeah, you'd have to really like. I don't know. Commit, I guess. So, but I don't know. I don't know if I would be. I don't know. I don't know what I would do if like it was like a job that I really thought I could jive with, and it's just had this obscure side thing where it's because it's you know porn or something. It's like, yeah,
I don't know. I
yeah,
think that there's. I think in long, if you don't plan on being a lifer there, and you plan on doing more with your life, like running for politics or something, or having a position of influence, I think it probably would end up hurting you if people really want to dig into your past.
oh yeah. You couldn't run for politics. Well, maybe in some districts and things, but
Well,
yeah,
I think the standard has been lowered for white folks. They can have a pass, hence Trump, and still run for politics. They have extramarital affairs and a whole bunch of other things, and they can
yeah,
still like no one. It depends on like how you present yourself. Do you want to present yourself as someone that's squeaky clean and can do no wrong, and you're a person of morals? Then yeah, you can't do it. But if you present yourself as a cowboy and you have this bravado and yeah, I did it, so what? Let's move on. Let's talk about this, policy I have with Iran. Like if you represent yourself that way, where like this is who you are, get over it, then it'll probably work for you.
yeah. Try to hide or not try to hide it, but just own it, kind of a deal.
Yeah,
Like,
but
hey, this is what I did, but you know what? These were some cool tech things that we did there. I mean, if you could say something like, we have 10,000, or a million,
current user
contiguous concurrent streamers or something like that, and we had zero downtime for blah blah blah, and we increased profits by blah blah blah. It's like, you know, yeah, the domain's a little sketchy, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they'll just throw you behind the scenes, and they won't make you the face of
yeah,
the technical
yeah.
um, part
But
of
with
it.
all the other jobs out there, it's kind of like you'd have to really think hard about, do I want to commit to this thing? So yeah,
I'm not working with gay porn. I'm sorry, like I can't do it.
yeah.
So,
So
on that note, it's been real. I
yeah,
assume you have to work today.
yeah. I got work, and then this weekend I'll be doing the game jam thing that I was trying to lead up to, and then I've got tomorrow. Actually, I've got to drive north, and we're gonna go see the Avengers movie. So
The what movie?
the Avengers Endgame movie. It's coming out. This one,
Oh,
huge, huge,
you
huge.
said like it's far. Like I have to drive up north. Like
Yeah, like an hour.
is it really that far from you?
Well, no, we have some friends we're gonna go and see it
Oh,
with.
okay.
We saw in the last movie with, so um, it's just kind of like I'm doing the game jam thing, and I'm gonna try to fit it in with also doing this other thing. So we'll see how that goes. But hopefully, hopefully Sunday night I'll have a finished small game. So we'll see. But
Cool.
anyways, I guess keep working on this and
Yeah, I'll have the burger and shakes menu done by next Friday, hopefully.
yeah, write some closure or elixir or
I finished the first book. Now I'm reading the second book to reinforce what I learned from the first book. Uh, it'll probably take me another 2 weeks to finish that book.
why closure instead of something like Scala or Erlang or Elixir or I don't know.
Um, are you following me on Twitter?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
but I have just like 1,000 people, so stuff gets kind of lost in the mix. But
Because one is I don't have much experience with dynamic programming languages, and two, when I ran a poll on Clojure or Scala, it was overwhelming votes for Clojure.
hmm,
And people that know Clojure, they usually also know Scala, and they really like Clojure. And because of that alone, um, that pretty much made my decision. It being like foreign, because Scala is a statically typed functional first programming language, just like F sharp is. Well, I already know F sharp, and I would argue that I'm intermediate in F sharp right now. Like, I know it. I build systems in F sharp, and so is it really benefiting me to do the same thing on the JVM using Scala? Am I really learning? Yeah, I'm learning syntax, and I may learn some tools for that JVM ecosystem. But like, am I really building like new branches in my brain, plasticity, whatever, neuroplasticity, whatever you call that stuff?
yeah,
I'm just doing. I don't know if it's called a lateral transition or whatever, horizontal transition. The answer
sure.
is no, it's not. There's
Yeah, it's
more
like
jobs in Scala, but with Clojure, there's just too many people that know both Clojure and Scala, and they really are advocates of Clojure, and they really said that they opened up their mind even more when it comes to creativity and problem solving. And so, with that said, I kind of still do believe that when you learn a language like Spanish, Japanese, German, or whatever, you you're also acquiring or gravitating towards new relationships, new camps, people that are different but can teach you so much, right? You can increase your
sure.
network. And so now I'm like, okay, well, I think the same thing goes for a programming language. You know, if I completely transition from .NET to like, people in the Clojure community, I'm going to increase my following, right? I probably added like another 15 followers since I made my declaration about a month ago. And there's just a lot more inspiration that I could get that I wouldn't get from the current ecosystem that I'm in. So that pretty much fed into my decision.
Yeah, so it's like you're not going to grow by switching from C# to Java because they're basically the same thing, but
Yeah.
you might if you went from C# to Python. So cool,
Yeah.
fair enough.
There may be more opportunities that may open up. You pick a language, you pretty much pick the type of people that, or caliber people that you want to work with, and I do believe that.
Sure,
So,
cool. All right, well, call her good.
all right, Sean, it's been real.
Yep,
Thanks. Next Friday.
yep. Next Friday. So,
Peace. Bye.
cheers, bye.